Hi there, Chris Parry here from EQUITY.GURU with today's 3-minute hit. Today we're going at FansUnite. We haven't talked about this company for a while. They were a client of ours way back when they first went public during the era of irrational exuberance towards sports betting and esports. A lot of the companies from then, they've gone away now because like we said back when esports was going through its rush, it's not about doing esports, it's about how do you actually make money from esports. And with the sports betting thing, yeah, there's a big rush, but in order to be a sports betting platform that competes with other sports betting platforms, one, you got to raise hundreds of millions of dollars and spend it all on marketing. You're essentially spending $1,000 to get $200 or $300 worth of betting back. Your actual revenues that you're getting on sports betting, over time they compress, right? Like, yeah, it's a casino essentially, but if other companies are prepared to like raise what they're returning to their consumers, a percentage here and a percentage there, everyone else has to kind of chase that, and eventually it's a race to zero. Where is the money in sports betting? I'm glad you asked. So FansUnite has kind of initially come out and said, well, we're going to provide B2B platform gambling for companies that are in that business, right? If you've got the license to go and take sports bets in Ohio, great. We can provide you with the mechanics of actually creating your website to do that. But that's also competitive, right? Anybody out there that's got a little bit of coding skill can create a blackjack script or a slot machine, and there's tons of them. But there's an area of sports betting that, if you look back to the online poker boom back in the day, remember when every TV show, every sports betting, every sports network had 90% of their lineup was poker? Those were dreary days. But the reason that they did that was because the money in online poker wasn't necessarily in being the platform that people were playing poker on. The money really was in acquiring customers to get to those platforms, right? Companies like Bodog, all those online casinos that were like desperately poker stars, etc., Party Poker, they were all desperate to get paying customers. Now, you can do that by spending tens of millions of dollars on advertising, which they did, and which sports betting companies are doing right now. If you've watched any sports event in the last 6 months, you'll see you're just festooned with sports betting book ads. They're spending a fortune to get one customer here and one customer there. But if you can supply a steady stream of customers to these guys, instead of prices compressing for you, prices will start to expand. The money that you'll get in for those referrals starts to expand if you can reliably deliver new customers. Now, here's where FansUnite comes in. These guys have created a company called Betting Hero. And what Betting Hero does is it activates new online customers for online casinos and sports books and sends those customers their way. It also does research on making sure that those customers, those platforms are getting the most bang for their buck on their acquisition side. Comprehensive in-market QA product testing, in-depth consumer and competitive analysis, bespoke consulting. They also have what's called Hero Hotline, where if you are struggling to get your money into a sports book, these guys will actually walk you through the process and get you through that last mile of the path to becoming a customer for a sports book or casino. So these guys are where the good money is, right? It's a small capital outlay that they have to endure. They don't need a massive sales staff. They've simply got the technology, websites, the ability to take some customers from outside of sports books, put them into sports books. Now, who is interested in that? Well, here's the thing. Every single sports book and online casino is interested. These guys have live activation access agreements with MGM, WinBet, Barstool, with FanDuel, PointsBet. They've got traditional affiliate agreements with SI Sportsbook, FoxBet, Golden Nugget, TwinSpires, Bet Rivers, FanDuel, Canada Sportsbook, and they've got research agreements with Barstool, SI, WinBet, and MGM. That's good business right there, right? That means that the big boys that are spending tens of millions of dollars on advertising If you can say, oh, by the way, I've got 300 customers here looking for a home, who wants them? You can get big money from those big boys on a regular basis to supply those customers. Now, back in the Bodog days, before the government came in and shut down all the blackjack guys, good affiliate marketers, good people who knew how to attract customers, were showered with riches. Like, you could have become a multi-millionaire by just sending customers to Bodog, and lots of people did. Now that we're in the sportsbook area, there's two ways you can make money. You can go and get a license in every state and every country and do all the governance and all the regulation and deal with all the lawyers and the accountants and hope that you get licenses. And then when you get the licenses, you can spend millions of dollars trying to market people to yourself. Or you can do what FansUnite has done and set up one group that spans the world, brings people in from everywhere, and sends them to their local betting company of choice, depending on who is paying the most for those customers. That's good business. That's good business. And FansUnite is right in the middle of it. Now, you look at the share chart for FansUnite, you might not say, well, that looks like a company on the rise. Fair enough. The thing with it is if you go back to the irrational exuberance days, when everyone involved in sports betting was considered to be a $100 million company, so too was FansUnite. A lot of people made a lot of money on the way up. The problem was that market really compressed. Some bodies floated past in the river. Some companies went down. Some switched gears, moved into other things. FansUnite's still there and made their pivot into an area that is better than what they started with. Yes, they have a B2C group in McBookie in Scotland that is an online sports book, period, and they make decent money out of that. But if I was to hazard a guess, I'd say that there may be a different future home for that group, because what FansUnite really needs to be doing, and I think will be doing, is sticking to their knitting. The affiliate side of things is money. These guys can make serious cash out of this. They're already right in the hands of the biggest players in the game. And why would you try and compete with WinBet and Barstool and MGM when you can simply say to them, hey, we got a bunch of customers here who wants them, and just wait for the checks? Like, that's better business. Lower outlay financially, no big capex, no massive sales network required. You don't have to go out there and reinvent the wheel. You don't have to go out there and try and dislodge existing betting suppliers and provide them with software that everyone else is competing for. That stuff, forget. There's probably business there, but who really cares? The affiliate marketing side of things is where FansUnite can make some serious bank while not spending a lot of money getting there. Now, if they can prove that they are actually as good as they say they are, and they can continue those agreements, what they're looking at is Betting Hero right now is live and licensed in 14 states of the US, has 300,000 plus new depositing customers, has had 10,000 activation events in the last 5 years, growing year-over-year revenue, exclusive agreements in place, and 90% conversions from registration to NDC. $10 million plus in first-time deposits. That is serious opportunity there, and with more states coming online and all the time, it's a good deal. Now, I'm not going to tell you that FansUnite is right on the cusp of suddenly going 10x, because I don't think that that's where this business is, and I think that anybody who would sell you that is telling you lies. This is a good business that is going to grow and grow and grow, and I think the only thing that could possibly slow them down is that people stop betting on sports. And I'm looking around, I don't see that as a distinct possibility. In fact, I see more people not only putting their money into daily fantasy sports, because that was a big thing. Remember DraftKings, FanDuel, that was the massive thing a couple of years ago. Now we've moved across to not only complete game betting, but in-game betting, right? What's the next play going to be? Is it going to be a touchdown? Is it going to be a received pass? Is it going to be a run? Is it going to be nothing? That's now starting to take root. Now, esports gaming, which has been a thing that people have been talking about for a while, but which has been a struggle, quite frankly, and a younger investor crowd, a younger enthusiast crowd, isn't necessarily a betting crowd. right? It takes a while to transition. It takes a while to get into a place in your life where you're making enough money and have enough disposable income that you can lose a couple of $100 on a night and not feel terrible about it. So the esports crowd, I've always thought it was a bit of a stretch to bring them into the online betting thing, but it will happen. Just as it has with investing, right? When we opened EQUITY.GURU, we said the young investor crowd is big and getting bigger and it's going to take over. And everyone said, you're having a laugh. Young people don't invest. Well, hello, where are we now? So I think that the same is going to happen with betting. As time goes on and people increase their disposable income, they'll be more predisposed to having some fun and gambling that income. That's going to grow esports betting over time, but it ain't there just yet. So what do I think of FansUnite right now? I think it's really interesting. I don't think that you're going to put your money in there and take it from 7 cents to 50 cents in 2 weeks. But I can honestly see these guys putting together a couple of really strong quarters, showing significant growth, showing significant penetration, and Betting Hero is just going to get better as it goes. So as that happens, I could see this with just a few good news stories. I could see it easily going from 7 to 14. I could see that going from 14 to 21 on a bit of momentum. Will it happen tomorrow? No. Is it going to happen? I honestly believe it will. I think a $24 million market cap right now is cheap for what FansUnite is, and it will get less cheap as time goes on. Now, conflicts. I will say that not only have I known Scott Burton, the CEO of FansUnite, for some time, but we both invested in Altrincham FC, an English football club, a couple of years ago. We both serve on the board of directors of that. And so I've known this guy for a while. This has given me a good insight into the sort of executive that he is. Scott is a quiet, intelligent, thoughtful executive who, when he has a project in front of him, simply works through that project efficiently. He's not bells and whistles. He's got a thing he's going to do, and it's going to be done. Of all the executives that I've been exposed to over the last 15 years, he's been one of the most complete, honest. He has integrity. He's a good guy, and he gets the job done. Now, if you look back at everything he's promised for FansUnite, he has delivered the things that he promised. He has not disappointed anybody. And with the share price the way it is, you might think that people will be like, oh, maybe we need to get a new CEO. No, people understand that this guy is building something here. And that while the rest of the industry has cratered, he has managed to lock this thing down, get the belly of the plane to not touch the runway, and is now starting to build that rise back into where it needs to be. Look, this is a smart guy running a smart company. Now, I'm also conflicted in that I invested in the last raise. A lot of other people did too. This was a $3 million raise that was closed almost as quickly as it opened. Lots of people looking to get into this thing. We were lucky to get just a piece of what we actually wanted. They could have taken a lot more money if they wanted to, but honestly didn't want to sell as much shares as people wanted to buy. FansUnite right now is in one of those places that you like to be getting in. If you got in 2.5 years ago and you're still there, you're looking at it and saying, well, I'm underwater. Sorry about that, but that's the way the industry went. But if you're getting in right now, what you're getting in is for a quarter of the price of what you would have bought in 2 years ago. You're getting a company that has 2 years more progression, that has been built, that has started to figure out exactly where its sweet spot is and is gunning for that spot with everything it's got. This is the sweet time where you get it cheap, but you get the rise. And while I don't think that this thing's going to rise in 2 weeks, I do believe that it's going to rise. I do believe that the results are on the board, that they've built something real, that that real thing is exactly where you want to be in the sports betting market right now. I wouldn't want to be one of those big companies that has to spend $100 million a month marketing themselves just to keep their existing customer base. I want to be one of the guys that is sending customers to those companies that have all the money and are freaked out if they don't have at least 10% growth every month. I think Scott Burton's got FansUnite in exactly the right spot. The market doesn't yet get it, but the market is starting to figure it out. FANS, if you're in the US, it's FUNFF. Take a look for yourself. Go through the news releases. See what you think. I think you'll find, like I did, that there's a lot of there.